Y'all, so there's this new trend going around and it's called quiet quitting. It's actually what I've been referring to as looking for the back door for the longest. So, what is quiet quitting? Quiet quitting is where you hand in your invisible resignation. Quiet quitting is where you have concluded that your 9 to 5 is no longer serving you and you're looking for a way out. However, many of us aren't able to quit cold turkey for a plethora of reasons. I just want to say that times have changed and times still are changing. Another thing I'm hearing about that's trending is the great resignation. Yes, folks, it's actually a thing. I looked it up, and the great resignation began around spring of 2021. And now, nearly 4.3 million people have quit their jobs since January of 2022. And 44% of workers are looking for a new job. I think that the pandemic taught us all that jobs are not reliable and you cannot depend on them. I've seen cases where people have been with companies for and held their positions for 20 plus years and were let go like that. Many people began to feel as if their jobs didn't value them. And if you ask me, my honest opinion, more than likely your job probably does not value you. From there, people were sent home to collect unemployment. I just want to say this: give a man time and he'll begin to think, or take away a man's other senses and he'll begin to use his brain. So while sitting at home out of work, people began to realize that they value their time more than they value their employers. People began to realize that they value having more time with family. They value being able to do the things that they desire to do on their own terms. And they valued it so much that they made the choice not to return to work or not to search for another 9 to 5 and to create their own work. Many business owners and self-employed entrepreneurs were birthed during the Great Resignation. Now let's talk more about quiet quitting. Those who were laid off and let go got the easy way out. They were forced to quit, back against the wall, no other choice. And honestly, I wish my job would have just fired me. Yeah, I said it. I feel like this: if I have no other choice but to make a way, then surely I will make a way. But the longer I stay, the more I risk becoming more comfortable and dependent on my job. And, you just don't want to drift, okay? Some of us want to quit but aren't able to quit just yet. And here's where the idea of quiet quitting comes in. So how do you quiet quit? Well, let's start here. Quiet quitting is a form of manifestation. Wu Wei. Y'all never heard of Wu Wei? Go look it up. WUWEI. So when you quiet quit, you are doing your job according to your job description. Nothing more, nothing less. Some examples of quiet quitting could be this. Maybe you're one of those individuals who gets to work maybe 20 or 30 minutes prior to the start of your shift, so that you can go in and prepare yourself, set up your materials, fix your coffee, hang out and chit chat with coworkers in the break room about the previous day or week's work, about your supervisor, whatever the case may be. And you're not getting compensated for showing up to your employer 30 minutes early, but you just do it because you value your position, you value your job, you take pride in what you do. You want to get there early because you know that how you start your day sets the tone of your day, right? So an example of quiet quitting would be realizing your worth, realizing that you are not being compensated for these additional 20 or 30 minutes that you decide to roll up to the job. So a quiet quitter would start coming to work maybe 2 to 5 minutes early, or maybe not early at all. If you like me, you're going to clock in on the dot because they not getting a minute extra of my time. You're going to get what you paid me for. That's it. Nothing more, nothing less. So that would be an example of quiet quitting. Another example of quiet quitting would be, at one point, y'all, we used to work so hard. And I say we as in all of us as a whole. At one point, we would bring home work, things from work, materials from work, and work on projects at home, read materials at home, do studying on your position at home. And you're not being paid to do that. In fact, you spend 8 to 9 hours a day at your 9 to 5, which you are compensated for. You're paid for that, right? And then you may spend, if you were anything like I was, an hour traveling to work, an hour traveling from work. So now we at 10, 11 hours out of the day. And you telling me I was coming home and doing studying, trying to perfect my craft at work? Like, nah, we ain't doing that no more. You know, if they want me to learn something and learn some materials and be trained, then you pay me for it. And you pay me for it on the clock, because even if they paid me overtime to stay after, the answer is no. I do something called 8 and skate. I put my 8 hours in and I skate up out that bitch. You know, we not doing that no more. That's quiet quitting. Another example of quiet quitting would be maybe at one point in time you would work through your breaks. You wouldn't care if you, was able to get up and leave the office for lunch or your 15-minute or 30-minute breaks. You valued your work, so you would go ahead and complete work during your breaks, opposed to actually taking your breaks. And either way, you're not being compensated, whether you take your break or you work through it. We ain't doing that no more, folks. A quiet quitter does not do that. A quiet quitter takes their breaks in full. And yeah, that's just that. Now, I know some people out there may, if you work through your break, then you could potentially leave early for the day if you get all of your work done early. Well, for the majority of us, if you have a job like I have, like, ain't no leaving early. Even if you do additional work, there's no such thing as doing your work to be able to leave early. So those of you who have the luxury of being able to work more and work through your breaks so that you can leave and go home early, then yes, I would highly advise that, because that's also an example of quiet quitting. How and why? Because anytime that you can buy yourself more time, that's a good thing. So, if you could knock your work out in 6 or 7 hours opposed to 8 and get up out of there an hour or two early, then, that's a win-win situation. But those of you who are in a situation like myself who don't have that option, stop working through your breaks. They're not paying you for it. Your job doesn't give a damn about you. You give them what they pay you for, and you take your breaks. So, those are just examples of what quiet quitting is. One more example about quiet quitting. I gotta say this one, because I'm the type of person, like, I don't stop until I reach the top. And I don't even think that there is a top. I think that we as a whole will always want more. We will always want better. We will always want to continue to ascend. With that being said, the type of employee I am, I have always had really good and strong work ethics. I have always desired to be to the top. I was never comfortable with being just an employee, a worker. I always wanted to be a trainer. I always wanted to be a supervisor. I always had to go above and beyond. And, that's how I've been making it through the 9-to-5 world. This is the longest that I've ever held a position. In fact, last time I held a position where I wasn't a supervisor, I was like a teenager, right? But I don't give a fuck anymore, folks. I don't want none of that shit, Back in 2019, when I got promoted into my current position, right? I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be a trainer, I'm gonna be a supervisor, and I was bringing work home, and I was studying, and I was preparing for the interviews, and then something happened, and I just stopped. I don't want it. I don't want to be anyone's supervisor, if I'm gonna supervise, it's gonna be my own business, all right? I don't give a damn about being a trainer, none of that. I wanna come in, work in the position that I'm in, put my 8 and skate, okay? It's all about taking your time back, folks. It's all about owning as much of your time as possible. So some of the things that you may do is, to quiet quit. You might get to work on time opposed to arriving early. You may reduce your work hours. If that's an option, if you're full-time, and if going part-time is an option, and if you can financially afford to do that, that would be another form of quiet quitting. Suppose you're someone like myself who's still on the 9-to-5, but have different side hustles that bring in income. Maybe your side hustles could supplement that income. Your reduction of hours, maybe your side hustles could supplement that income to make up for the amount of hours that you are losing or stepping down from. So that's an example. Another example is you could cut down on the amount of days that you work per week or per pay period. I I work Monday through Friday. And my job does not have like a part-time position, or there's no way where I could cut down the amount of days that I work. But for you, maybe that is an option. So maybe instead of working 5 days a week, maybe you could work 3 days a week, and those other 2 days you could spend supplementing your income, working on your business, or whatever the case may be. All of our reasons for wanting to quit or quiet quit may be different. Another thing that you can do that could be considered quiet quitting is maybe you might want to step down in your position. Just like I was telling you guys, how I was the type of employee who always wanted more, who wanted to be the next manager, the next supervisor, the next trainer. Well, maybe you already are a manager, a supervisor, or a trainer. And maybe you're thinking about quiet quitting. And we all know that in those supervisor positions comes a lot of responsibility, right? So maybe you just don't want the responsibility anymore. Maybe you want more time, because we know, in fact, that's the reason why I left my job prior to the one that I have, because I was pregnant, and the job was a great job for a single woman who didn't have a husband or boyfriend or any kids. But if you're looking to date and have kids, like the job that I was in, it wasn't for me. So I actually quiet quit there. Well, I just quit cold turkey. But I took a step down, So maybe that could be an option as well, While you're doing this, you could and you should be coming up with a plan and an exit strategy, though. Folks, we are not quiet quitting because we are tired of waking up every day. We are not quiet quitting because we're lazy. Absolutely not. I'm not saying quit your job because you're tired of going to work. Quit your job with intention behind it. Quit your job with a plan moving forward. Now, I was going to say, and I'm still going to say it, but this should already be figured out before you've even made the decision that you want to quiet quit or quit. Some of the things that you may want to do is determine what you want. What is it that you want out of life? How are you going to achieve it? And how long will it take you? And how much money will you need to do it? I would advise anyone to have a nice savings and to have a plan before you go out there and quiet quit, especially for the individuals like myself who may be single, who may be head of household. If it's just you out there, you got to make sure that your next move is your best move. Now, I'm not trying to scare anyone or discourage anyone. In fact, I do this all for you guys. Y'all can sit back and y'all can watch me do it. I want to show you that it is possible for, an independent individual to make this happen. I oftentimes get questions, what are you going to do about health insurance? What are you going to do if things should not happen to work out with your business? I don't want to think like that. And I don't want to listen to people who think like that. I want somebody to ask me, what are you going to do if it all works out? What are you going to do if your business is successful? And in the event that it's not, then you find other ways. That's why I'm telling you guys, your side hustle needs a side hustle. And don't put all of your eggs in one basket. Step out, take that leap of faith, and take a calculated risk, okay? And you'll be just fine. Now, how else do you quiet quit? Rule number 1. Do not tell your friends and family. They don't need to know a thing. Those are those individuals that's going to tell you, well, you shouldn't. What if it doesn't work out? You don't want to be stuck. What if you have to go back to your old job? It's none of their business. You go ahead and you do you. You pop up when you put in your, not invisible, but your actual resignation, and you let them know. That way it's done. Nobody can change your mind. Nobody can put thoughts into your mind. This is something that you must do for yourself. Don't tell your coworkers. Your coworkers are going to hate on you. They're going to be jealous that you have wised up enough to use your own brain and realize that you no longer have to be controlled by your employer, by a 9 to 5. Because that's really what's happening, folks. They control our lives through working. Okay? And ultimately, do not tell your supervisors. They can discourage you. They can make the process more difficult. They'll pick out, I'm not saying that they will. I mean, you might have a cool supervisor. I don't know, but I'm just saying what could possibly happen. They could possibly make your job a lot harder. Sometimes people see and know that you have a goal that you're working towards, and they do everything in their power to steer you away from that and deter you. So, again, if you've made the decision to quiet quit, then you shouldn't tell a soul, except your husband or wife or spouse, whatever the case may be. Ladies, don't be going back quiet quitting and then you get in trouble with your husband and talking about, well, Lex says she quiet quitting and she's a single woman, she don't have no husband. If she can do it and I have support, I know I can do it. Y'all not gonna put that on me. No, 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 ladies. No, 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 fellas. If you guys are thinking about quiet quitting, then I would advise you to talk this over with your spouse beforehand. But ultimately, like I said, the decision is yours. So you have to determine if this is really something that you want to do or not. Talk it over with your spouse and see if it's something that can work for you guys' household. And that's really what quiet quitting is, you guys. We are wising up and we are wising up, realizing that there are other ways to acquire money and that a 9-to-5 surely isn't the way to acquire wealth. All right. So, think about that before you make the decision to just walk away cold turkey. Now, some of you guys, I won't say some of us because I am not, but some of you guys may be in the position where you are able to just quit cold turkey. Maybe you have money saved up or inherited from somewhere else. Maybe you do have a spouse that can hold things down on their own and take care of all the bills and the financial matters until your business kicks off and starts making money. I mean, there's, like I said, a plethora of different scenarios out there. You figure out what works best for you. I just wanted to bring that to you guys' attention that there is a new trend going around, quiet quitting. I have quit, and I can't wait to hand in my actual resignation. I've handed in my physical resignation. And like I was saying, y'all, quiet quitting is a form of manifestation. It's deep. So you quiet quit and now you are walking in the path that you desire to be in. You're living your dreams. That's Wu Wei. You're living your dreams before your dreams even manifest. Okay. So some of the things that I do to quiet quit is, check it out. I can't reveal to you guys where I work at because I'm still an employee. I'll tell y'all all of that after I hand in my official resignation. But what I can tell you is all day long, I'm on the phone. So when I'm speaking to my clients on the phone, you're going to go through these phases. Like once you decide that you no longer, that your 9-to-5 is no longer serving you, then you're going to go through a phase of feeling like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to go here. You're probably going to call off a lot of days. You're going to go to work and you won't perform your best. You may even have an attitude, feeling like, why am I here? Why is this happening to me? I'm too good for this. I'm better than this. Yes, I've went through all of that. And I call that it's so windy outside, y'all. It's beautiful. I call that the dark stages, right? And we all know that from darkness comes light. So what I did, because I'm an alchemist, instead of getting up and going to work and having an attitude and not wanting to speak to my customers, I learned this from my mentor, right? You guys know that I am now an NSA, and I went with my mentor to a signing before, right? And how she handled the signing, I mean, I could have sworn that she knew these people, the way that she was talking to them, the way that she was engaging with them, the relationship that she had built with them. So instead of going to work with an attitude, now I mock that same attitude, right? I go to work and I speak to my clients as if I know them. I make it fun. It makes my day go by faster. So instead of thinking those negative thoughts like, I hate this job, I shouldn't be here, I'm better than this, I'm thinking this is just like a pathway to get me to where I want to be. Obviously, I can't quit right now cold turkey for financial reasons. It's just me. But what I can do is make the best out of what I do have. And that's how you open up the doors for the things that you want. You show gratitude for what it is that you do have. So now every day I'm speaking to my customers, I'm building relationships, Man, y'all, some of these people, they be asking me like, you can call me, you have my number, you can call me anytime. They be wanting me to call them and stuff, and I'm on a recorded line at work. I would love to make friends with a lot of my clients personally, because I do run into some really cool and interesting people. But again, however, this is business, so I'm working, my call is recorded, I cannot. But I'm just saying that to say that's how well the conversations are going. And I'll tell you guys the reason why I'm doing that. One, like I said, show gratitude for what you have, and that will open up the door for the things that you want. And two, I'm walking in my purpose. Like, I am preparing to take my first GNW assignment. I am preparing to take my first loan signing, right? So I need to already be familiar with communicating with people, with building relationships with people. So why not get that practice in now? Listen, this is what you do. You make your 9 to 5 work for you, okay? They've been making us work for them for the longest. Now it's time for us to make them work for us, okay? So when you at work while you're getting paid, it's like additional training. That's how I look at it. My job is now training me to be the best NSA that I can be. And of course, I'm not going to quiet quit there. Of course, I'm going to want to be the best NSA that I can be, because now this is me. This is my own business. I'm working for myself. I will be working for myself. So yes, I want to provide the best services as possible. So it would only make sense to go ahead and get that practice in now and get paid for doing it. Take care, folks. I hope y'all learned something. I hope you enjoyed. If you're thinking about quiet quitting, what are you waiting for? Go ahead. Put in your invisible resignation right now. Come up with a plan and work towards it. Let me know if you guys are thinking about quiet quitting. Comment down below. Let me know if you have quiet quit. Comment down below. Let me know if you've actually quit or resigned. And I want to know how it went. Let me know. Maybe you guys could give me some tips and pointers as well, because you know what my goal and my plans are. So help a sister out if you got some info for me. All right, y'all.